Thursday. Happy Thursday. We're live here inside of multiple groups. I'm excited about this training today. We're going to jump into this training. So I want you guys, if you're listening, hashtag live if you're watching it live, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. This training today has come up. This is an answer to questions that nurses have asked me, and something I actually experienced and felt myself as I decided to embark on the journey to become a legal nurse consultant. So that safe nursing paycheck is costing you more than you think, and this is a perspective shift that I myself had to experience, and I want to share that with you today because I think it's important. As other nurses are experiencing the same thing, if I can share my thoughts and insights and really, share that story with you, maybe it would be powerful and helpful and give you an opportunity to shift perspective as well. But what's more important is the fact that I think what we don't realize as nurses is we get a paycheck every 2 weeks, and it becomes a security blanket for us. It becomes a way for us to say, my family is safe. It becomes a way, it becomes how we live in our safety, in our perspective, our safety net, because now we can budget and live and support our family off of that income. And it's almost a critical crossroad in your mind, because again, I understand the thought of it being safe, okay? But here's what I don't think we realize is that thought is holding us back from so much opportunity, because we're locked in to fear that if we let that go, we'll never get it back. That's that fear. We're locked into, if I let this go, and I start my own business and it's not a paycheck every 2 weeks and it's not consistent, then I am not living. We let this emotion trigger a survival mechanism in us. And that is challenging to overcome, because that's how we've been living. Our body and our mind understand we are living here, we're surviving. Don't do anything stupid, right? Don't do anything crazy. But starting your own nursing career isn't crazy. Starting your own business isn't crazy. Lots of us do it. Lots of us are successful at it. But the mental hardwiring we've acquired up until this point makes us feel like this is a really bad decision. So I want to lean into that today, and I want to share my story with you, because that safe paycheck is actually what is costing you. I realized that the moment I made the leap. I realized how much time I spent staying in my leadership role just because I was afraid that if I stepped outside of it and I didn't get a paycheck and I didn't make enough money, then it was the perspective of, why would I be so selfish and make my family suffer just because I don't like my job? Like, suck it up, Stephanie. Just because I have to make sacrifices, suck it up. That was that old mentality, right? I felt very driven to just suck it up because this is what everybody does. And realizing that paycheck that I was attached to every 2 weeks, it was dictating my life. It was costing me weekends and holidays. I would miss family events because I was so attached to that paycheck every 2 weeks. I was called for unexpected obligatory overtime. By sticking and staying and attaching myself to this paycheck, I was sacrificing my ability to show up for the loved ones that I claimed I was doing all of this for in the first place, right? But then I wasn't letting go of that paycheck. I was like, no, I have to keep my day job. I did, really. That was me. Like, oh my God, I have to keep my day job. Calling out when my kids were sick felt burdensome. It felt shameful. I had fear of judgment when my younger son was sick and I had all his doctor's appointments. I knew I had this internal battle. I knew my family was my priority, and I kept telling myself, they are my priority. They are your priority, Stephanie. You're always going to be there for them. I'm putting them first. But in me putting them first came the shame and the blame and the guilt associated with calling out, associated with wanting to be there Christmas morning when they woke up instead of being at the hospital. That paycheck costed me so many memories and so much time where I said, out of one side of my mouth, I'm putting my family first, and out of the other side, I can't let go of this paycheck, which meant I wasn't putting them first. Because again, that paycheck was costing me my weekends, my holidays. It was costing me those family events. It was costing me emotion and sanity for every time I chose to be there for my family instead of being at the hospital. My mental health. Here's another thing it's caught, and I'm saying this with grace. Remember, I'm saying all this with grace. Hold on, we've got some people saying I don't see it. I don't see it. We don't see the live. Is that what we're talking about? We're not seeing the live? We are live. We are live. So let me see here if we are live inside of the page here. Carrie, are we live inside of our group? Are we live inside of the group, Carrie? Can you check and make sure? All right. I see it now. Let me see. Let me make sure. Are we live inside of the group? Sorry for the interruption, guys. I want to make sure I'm getting some messages here, trying to figure out if we're live inside of the group. Let's make sure we're pulling it over into the group really quick. Awesome. Thank you, Carly. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate it. Hey, Eileen. Eileen, I love it. Thank you, Nancy. All right. So we've got it pulled over. All right. So jumping back in, guys. So I talk about how the safe paycheck, we presumably call it the safety net, right? This is my safety net. This is my safe paycheck. It's how it's costing you. It's the time and the freedom with your family. And I already explained that. But what about your mental health? What about your mental well-being? The overwhelming politics in some places. Going to a job where you dislike what you do every day, it becomes toxic. And that toxicity you take home with you to your loved ones. It is taxing on your well-being. It chips away at your mental sanity. That's that paycheck that you say, I need that paycheck. I have to have that every 2-week paycheck. It is draining you. It drained me. It drained me of potential growth. Okay, you know why? Because it capped my earning potential. That paycheck. Because someone else, the employer, told me what I was worth and said, this is how much we're going to pay you. So no matter how hard the job gets, no matter how difficult your day is, no matter how sick the patients are, no matter how horrible your boss is, no matter how terrible the environment is, no matter what happens on that unit, we're going to pay you the same, and we expect you to show up. And that was that paycheck. It capped my growth. It capped my earning potential to what they said I was worth. You know, as a legal nurse, you can earn a minimum of $150 an hour. A minimum. And you're the one who gets to share your worth. I spoke to a nurse today. She works in the ER, and I was like, you know, you can go make $200 an hour. And she's like, seriously? And I'm like, yes, as a legal nurse, you can. Because it's your business, and the value of your knowledge and your skill set to attorneys is far more than any hospital's ever going to pay you. Just to speak the cold hard truth. It really is. The fear of stepping outside of your comfort zone is going to cost you the chance to unlock skills and confidence that otherwise you can propel yourself towards. You can create something truly that is your own. Truly, that is your own. But you can't do it in the safety of a paycheck when someone else is governing every moment of your life. Your sense of control in life is relinquished over to that paycheck because your employer, that's the trade-off. The trade-off is you show up. Your trade-off is you show up and we pay you. They determine when you show up. They determine how much you make. Right now, your schedule, your income, your work environment, they're all controlled by someone else. All of it. As a legal nurse consultant, you choose your clients, you set your schedule, you dictate the terms in which you work with people on. If you don't like working with someone else, then you don't work with them again. Every day in the hospital job, you're giving up this autonomy. You're giving up this freedom. You're giving up this control. We call this safe and secure, but we're giving all that up. We're giving it to someone else. It's not really safe and secure. Your opportunity, the cost of your opportunity is by far the greatest. Because if you stay in your current position, again, there's time delay on building a business. That business you build could change your entire lifestyle and could bring you more of what you want. Every month you spend in your safe paycheck, every month you spend in that safety net, you're not spending that time growing yourself in a practice like L&C, where you could build connections, gain experience, refine your skills in another field, and make multiple of what you're making right now. The time you continue to spend inside of your day job, collecting that paycheck, is time lost in growing your business that you will never get back. Time is, we all say we want more money, but time is the one thing that we can never make back. We can always go figure out how to make more money, right? I mean, that's part of it. But time is something, once you lose it, it's gone. It's gone. The true cost of security. And I want you guys to think about this, okay? So let's talk about the word security. I keep saying you have this paycheck is your false sense of security. You guys who went through COVID, and many of you know, it's not real security, because what happens when the hospital makes cuts? What happens when they lay off staff? What happens when inflation erodes your paycheck? Because eggs are over $8. Do you think you get compensated inside that paycheck? No. So your paycheck loses value with inflation. You're at the mercy of someone else's decisions and at the mercy of a paycheck that stays the same no matter what happens. Staying in that job just doesn't align with your long-term goal. It doesn't align. It's the false sense of stability, because reality right now for you is it's risky to go into business for myself. Well, it is. Unless you start that business alongside of your day job, which you can do. So minimize your risk. And as you start making money as a legal nurse, realizing I can let go of that false sense of security, that paycheck, because I'm making more money and I have more freedom and more stability in my new role. There is a way to marry this so that without having to quit your job and risk everything, you can still start this other business. There is a way to do that. Here's why legal nursing is so amazing. Because your skills are transferable. Like I said, you can stay a nurse and learn how to use that skill set as a legal nurse without losing. You won't lose those skills. You don't lose value when you quit the hospital. You don't lose that knowledge. You don't just up and the next day forget it all. You don't lose your experience that you've acquired over the years. Your skills are transferable. All of that mental knowledge and critical thinking, all of that patient advocacy, all of it works. And there's a way, I like to call it natural expression. It's what you do best, right? This is what you naturally do. All of that is transferable over to legal nurse consulting. All of it. Your earning potential. I've told you guys 1,000 times, legal nurse consultants can make 6 figures easy. And I didn't say making money is easy. I didn't say building a business was easy. But you can get to 6 figures fairly easy. Because if you're making $150 an hour, we can talk on another call about how many cases that is, about what that looks like. But it's going to take you a lot less hours to get to your earning potential at 6 figures than it is at what you're currently working for, right? Remember that paycheck, that value, that hourly rate that someone else is dictating. Flexibility. We all say we want it. We all say we want more flexibility, but we won't take Like legal nursing is a field that gives it to you. I mean, maximum flexibility. You set your own hours. You can work from anywhere. You give all your time to your family and put your family first. You actually work when you want, and business works around your life. Any of you ever feel like as a nurse that your life revolves around your job? Because that's most of us, right? My life revolves around my job. It's most of us. Business revolves around my job. What if your business could revolve around your life? And I'm not asking you as if it's hypothetical and it's so far reached. I'm telling you this is possible. This isn't like in theory, if it could ever occur. It is occurring and you can have it. You just have to choose it. It's another one, right? You have to choose it. How about control? How about not working with toxic people or being around them because you don't have to? You decide, again, who you work with, how much you work, when you work. You work as much as you're willing to tolerate. And if you want to work more 1 week and less than other, great. If you want to work with less attorneys or don't want to work with an attorney, fine. You dictate that. Someone else doesn't. So if you've had a really rough day, you get to give yourself grace. But when you're collecting that paycheck, you don't. Because no matter how hard the day before is, you're going to show up the next day because someone else said so. That's what it turns out to be. We are so afraid of really getting or taking what we've wanted. We've always wanted maximum freedom. We want the flexibility. We want to put our family first. We say all these things. With Legal Nurse Consulting, you can actually do it. You can take it. You can make it yours. But we have so much fear around doing this because we're so afraid. We're so attached to that paycheck. We think if we lose that paycheck, we've lost it all. That's absolutely inaccurate, especially when you and I both know that you could quite literally, go get another nursing job somewhere else. Could we not all? And you could also go part-time or PRN while you're growing your business. Investing in yourself, whether it's training, mentorship, starting your own business, reading, investing in yourself isn't about walking away from something secure. It's about building real security because you're doing it on your terms. Investing in yourself is the real security. Here, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this. What would happen, and this is something we've done before, but what would happen if you didn't take the leap into legal nursing? You've been thinking about it, you want to, but what happens if you don't take the leap? What does life look like 5 years from now? And really think about this. Everything stays the same. You're making the same money. You're working at the same hospital, dealing with the same nonsense, the same people, the same pains, the same aggravations, the same politics, the same inflation. Nothing changes. 5 years from now, are you going to be okay with that? Because when you say no to yourself, that's what you're saying. You're accepting that I'm just going to leave it all the same and I'm okay with it. If you're not okay with it, it's time for you to act on it. It's time for you to really look into what does life look like 5 years from now if I do take that leap? What does life look like if I do take that leap? Ashton, that'll answer your question. It's about shifting perspective. So many of us are like, but I can't lose that paycheck. Why don't you ask yourself what it's like and what life would be like if you let go of the paycheck? Just ask yourself. I didn't tell you to let go of it. I said, ask yourself what life is like if you do. Because you spent a lot of time thinking about what life is like if I let go of it, all the fears. Oh my gosh, I can't support. But what if I do let go of that paycheck? And I'm a legal nurse and I'm making $150 an hour and I'm bringing in the same income, and at $150 an hour, wow, that's like less than half of the hours, and my family is still fed. So if I'm making the same amount of money as a legal nurse consultant working less than half of the time, what does life look like then? Why don't you give yourself permission to ask, what could life look like? Because there is no harm, no blame, and no loss in thinking and considering what life could really look like if you do take that leap. It's interesting how so many of us never let ourselves think like that. Why not? Because you're not hurting anybody or anything by thinking like that. You're just giving yourself an opportunity to see that the paycheck really isn't your security blanket. Nancy says, if you jump off the boat, there are two options. You sink or swim. It's human nature to survive and win. 1,000% agree, Nancy. Most of us don't sink. Because when push comes to shove, we're going to figure it out. Because it's human nature to survive. Here's the thing about you as a nurse. You already have the drive and experience. You already have it. You went to nursing school. You studied. You have a job. You made a career out of it. You go through thick and thin, ups and downs, and all the terrible bad days and the patients and, the politics. Think about the things you encounter on a daily basis. Why on earth would you choose to fail at this? If you are looking and longing for a life where you can actually have real security. Meaning, me as a legal nurse, the house that we live in, the money that we make, I control how much, when, where. I control it all. That is ultimate security. And the fact that I have been able to invest more knowledge and time into myself, to grow myself, that's invaluable because everything that I learn, everything that I acquire and attain, I get to spill that knowledge back out into working with attorneys and working with other nurses. Do you think a hospital is ever going to pay me for being smarter? Usually no. Go get a better degree, but make the same pay. Or get 50 cents an hour. 50 cents an hour. Have a really tough day and all day worrying about your sick child at home and how you can't be there. And if you take off, it's going to cost you money, so you have to be at work. But all day worrying about the person that you're working for. You love that child so much that you're going to work to support the child. You're sacrificing the time with that child, time that you'll never get back, so you can make $1. Which, by the way, just so you guys know, you can make money over and over and over again. You do it every 2 weeks. Money is replaceable. Time is not. Time is the one thing you'll never get back. Go make more money. Find another job. Figure it out. We are so attached to the fear of losing money. We go make it every 2 weeks right now. And you go spend it every 2 weeks. So why are you so attached to this paycheck? When you and I both know that you can go make money as a nurse, pick where you want to go. Job opportunities are endless. So why are you so fear-stricken? Why are you so attached to this paycheck? What's got you held back? Because you have relied on someone paying you for your efforts for so long, you don't even give yourself a chance to rely on you. Yes. Money is abundant. Nurses are resilient. I love this. I love this. This is that false sense of security. This is why that paycheck costs you so much more than you realize. When I realized that, I chose me. I chose my legal nursing business. I chose my family. I did. And when I realized it, it came quickly. And the moment you make the leap, the moment you put both feet over the fence, you won't look back. Because remember, you could always go get another nursing paycheck. Just because you left, just because you went PRN, just because you decided to start a legal nursing business, doesn't mean you're never a nurse. You're always going to be a nurse. With that license, renew it. Keep it. You're always going to be a nurse. You can always go get a job at another hospital. You can always go collect another paycheck if you really want to. That paycheck will always be there if you really want it. I challenge you to venture into a world where you give yourself an opportunity to say, what if I could do this? What would my life be like? Because perspective for you guys, here's perspective. 8 years ago, my husband and I decided to partner with a financial advisor who could help us see the light in what we were doing and help us learn how to put and use our money differently 8 years ago. 3 years from that moment, both my husband and I had left our day jobs and began working for ourselves. Less than 3 years. I just asked you a while ago, what would life look like 5 years from now if nothing changed? And what would life look like 5 years from now if you did something different? Like start your own business as a legal nurse. What would life look like? Because if we had taken that moment 8 years ago and made no changes, 3 years later, we would have been in the same place. But we made some changes, small changes. 3 years later, we were both quitting our day jobs, working for ourselves, taking complete control of our life in 3 years. Imagine what life would be like in 5. Let yourself see your potential. And remember, that paycheck that you think is so safe that you're afraid of letting go of, you can always go back and get it if you really want. You can always go back and get a job as a legal nurse. So if you can always go back to it, where do you think you should shift your energy and your potential? Where do you want to invest your time? What do you want to give the most to? You can always go back to that. Is the risk so risky now? Or is the reward and the opportunity worth it? Is the lifestyle? Yes, you're going to make more money. And more money leads to more memories and a better lifestyle. Isn't that what you want? Then give yourself a chance. Bet on yourself. You did it when you went to nursing school, and here you are. I'd take the chance and bet on myself again if I were you. I did. Hundreds of other nurses are. Give yourself a chance. You already have the drive and experience. This career is literally waiting for you. Let go of what you think is safe. And remember, you can always go back to it. It will always be there. Nurses are never going to be so profound and abundant that they don't need one. So what's the safety net now? If that paycheck can always be there whenever you want, if you can go back and get a paycheck whenever you want, if you can go get a paycheck at any point in time, why are you holding on so tightly to it? You can always go back and get one. You can always go work for someone else as a nurse in some form or capacity. What's holding you back from betting on yourself? Choose you. And if you want to learn more, guys, if you're interested, if you've heard me mention LNC business and you're like, wait, how do I do this? How can I create a profitable business? Comment the word support and a member of my team will reach out to you. Have a fantastic day, guys. And stay tuned. We've got a lot of new great things coming up next week. We're going live on Wednesday. We actually have a live event next week. So we won't have our training next Thursday, guys. We're going live next Wednesday with our live event. So stay tuned. Be on the lookout. Check your emails. Check your messages. You've got a lot of information coming to you about it. It's totally free. Register or drop the word support. We'll get you some more information on that too. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.